Hi everyone, the Mature Simmer here. So I just wanted to quickly jump back over so you can see how things are going in my finance department for selling the crops. So as you can see, I have nearly $900,000 at this point, and that's up from a low of $300,000 even after I had posted the last batch at this point less than 48 hours ago. So as I had mentioned, I just wanted to kind of show how quickly sales can move forward. So you can see, the sales points we've got. So basically since midnight today, we've had 6 sales. And then, obviously there's a few things mixed in here. So we did have a truck come in and deliver just before midnight. And then, we've sent it out. I happened to be on at that point, so I sent it off, filled up with gas, and sent it off on its next route. But then again, these incomes are all sell points from our sell orders that are out there for the various things. So you can see sugar beet, oats, hemp, oat, carrot, sugar beet. And now we're, still just all of yesterday we're still continuing on the screen, and some of these are pretty significant, and they're not just the hemp. So this one's hemp, but this one's oats, where we sold 45,000 of them, because again we had nearly 1 million, but we had them spread across 2 orders. So it really just depends what you hit, but this was basically the last fee. So you can see 300,234 is what we were down to, and then we've started climbing up. And as I said, so basically we've got almost $600,000 of activity, give or take, because there may be a truck or two in there, but there's also all the fees that happen every day. And if we go to the resource exchange and just monitor the trades, we've still got a lot of crop still waiting to be sold. I mean, we are about, probably 50% done, because these were both over 400,000 each for the oats. And that's thanks certainly to things like selling 45,000 at a block. The hemp, we started at 1.2 million, so we've only sold 150,000 of it. But once again, the price on that was very close to the average price, so we were expecting that to go slower. But the goal was to maximize our income there. So, and we've still got, weeks to go that these things can continue to sell. So this is the thing that's nice, that obviously isn't available in Farming Simulator without something like FSN, where I've got this organized structure where I can go ahead and just let the market do its thing. Money trickles in. I can only move 218,000 over a week anyway. So once again, at this point, I'm probably coming up to a month worth of transfers if I was to try to deplete this, and I've still got a lot coming in. So I just wanted to show you guys that before we got going on to the next thing. Okay, so I'm back on the server here pretty late in midwinter or November. And I'm going to go ahead and get run some supply runs to start getting my silos topped up, since there isn't snow on the ground, which is frankly amazing to me, given that that almost never happens. Goodness gracious, come on, I'm barely getting the connection point here. There we go. It's probably because I came in at an angle. But in any event, so I know I need seeds, I know I need lime, So I'm going to go ahead, and you can also see that I have gotten some money moved in here. I'm at 1.2 million. I guess I'll go this way this time. It's dark, and I'm forgetting how the road works. But yeah, I can go down here to the next major intersection and then head up between a couple of the fields. But yeah, so I moved 500,000 into the farm here, because we've obviously been chewing through things pretty quickly, especially with the consumption of all the seeds we had and the significant amounts of lime and so forth. So now that we've got to get more supplies, I knew I'd be probably looking at 100,000 or 200,000 of cost here. I've never driven this road in the dark. It's miserable, let me just tell you that. I just really can't see, and I'm trying to like move along, but just worried I'm gonna like end up in the river or something. So I'll try to make sure I don't ever miss that turn again. That certainly has taught me that. It's interesting that it's like clearing up what looks like a harvested crop, but I can't imagine I don't think he would have been able to be harvesting today, but so maybe he was doing it in early winter and it still remained or something. Not sure. But keep moving along here, and again, it's a little ways to the store. I'm probably going to regret not doing this during the daytime to some degree, but I've certainly driven this in the night before, so it's not like it's never been done. But for whatever reason, I'm having some challenges. So yeah, by the time you see this, what tends to happen timing-wise is to make sure that at least I provide everybody some FS22 content as soon as I can, if I've got things in time off. So now that it's midwinter and I've not really had things going on, and I knew I didn't need to do much today, that's partially why I didn't get onto the server till now, because I've spent most of the day as a couple maps have come out, and so I've spent the time, I'm going to grab seeds because I know I need that. I'm just somehow worried I have more lime than I think I do, and so the last thing I want is to suddenly have a truck that I can't eliminate. So I know I need seeds. But yeah, there were a couple maps that appeared that I felt were worthy of review. Deer Creek and County Line. County Line's just a re-release of an existing map from FS19, but Deer Creek is brand new. And it's actually, for its purpose, I think, very well done. It's a small map, so if you're looking for a large map with a lot of fields, it's not that, but it does have large fields. It's just a standard size map, and so it's definitely a unique mix of things that isn't really seen that much, and I really enjoyed that one. But I tried to do a few different things with the videos for those this time, as far as maybe recording an introduction to them, kind of putting together an actual opening, and that just takes some time. It takes some planning, so I just decided that was a fun way to spend a good portion of my day, at least the time of day that I had to work on Farming Simulator and to capture information for some videos. But anyway, by the time this comes out, you know, it's going to be likely a week or more after those maps were reviewed. So that's kind of the way the timing works. Just given the amount of material that comes from Farming Simulator here. So, and this is another example of that, because many years I don't have anything happening in the winter, so I have 3 days when I'm not recording anything, and therefore obviously I catch more up to a real-time type situation where maybe I'm posting the video of work I've done simply the next morning, because I just do the work, edit the video, and post it. But we've definitely gotten to the point this year, over the last couple years, that I've had so much work that I'm skewed off quite a bit, because I believe, trying to think, you know, I think the last video I posted is scheduled to come up on the 20th of January, and you know, today's only the 14th, so basically this video will be the 21st, but that may also be a Saturday, which then would mean that should be my roleplay video if I am able to get that together, because I haven't done that for Hebdoff. But certainly want to kind of continue that moving forward, at least a little bit. Trying to figure out if I do want to start wrapping that one up, since it is FS19, but I can't do any kind of role play effectively in FS22 yet. Oh, that was almost too fast, and that is usually the problem I have. Luckily I saved it. As I go barreling off the end of the road, because I can't see it in the dark, and I underestimate where it is, and I wasn't honestly paying attention to the mini-map, so that didn't give me any help either. But yeah, you know, the good news is, and I thank everyone who is commenting, because I do read them all. I do try to respond to them all, at least to acknowledge that I got them, and thank you for your feedback. But usually I've you know, tried to respond with something helpful. But I am starting to get some input of what people are looking for, or what they're enjoying, really, I guess I should say. So you know, and this channel is certainly, you know, as much for you guys, the viewers, as it is for just me to enjoy what I'm putting out. But you know, there's definitely a partnership we can have there of, if I know what you're interested in, it'll likely align in some way with what I'm willing to put out. So don't be shy in letting me know, you know, if there's a video about something you'd like me to do, or if you'd like me to do things with, again, the FSN videos in a certain way. I thought he had 2 cow barns there. Again, the world is playing tricks on me here in the dark, but it's just the way the lighting was, where the middle of the barn wasn't lit up, so I was thinking like I was seeing part of one and part of a second. I'm like, wow, he expanded even more, but it's still just the 1 cow shed on that spot there. So alright, so yeah, I've got to go around the back of the silos here. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Let's not go too fast. But it should let me drop these shortly. Alright, so let's see. There and there. So it lets me do both. Let me run around and look at things, and hopefully I won't misread them like I did the one day. Alright, so the seeds are here. So the seeds may actually be at the max. I think that's fertilizer, so I can't get a full truck of fertilizer. But yeah, okay, seeds are at 160, so that is good enough. So it's lime and herbicide, actually. So yeah, if I get a full truck of lime, that'll get me to 161. And then I could get a front of fertilizer and a back of lime is what I may do. So I may do 2 truckloads here. But yeah, so I'll do lime as a full. Let me just make sure, because now I keep second guessing myself. But yeah, so I need a full 80,000 of lime, and then I'll split fertilizer in the front and lime in the back. And then I just need to determine if I want to run anything with the tanker, which I think I will do. Unless, of course, it just suddenly starts snowing. It looks like we're just potentially going to get cloudy at some point, but it's not showing any precipitation yet. So I'm hopeful that I can run this for a little while. It shouldn't take too terribly long, because obviously, again, the truck moves along at a decent clip if I can get it up to the top speed of 75, which is, again, why I love this Mac, because it has a nice high speed and it gets there pretty quickly. So if you are playing an FSN, I would highly recommend this. And this is also something that, you know, I'm really going to have an issue with if we don't get something like it in FS22, because driving along at 50 miles an hour and taking 30 seconds to get up to speed is kind of what happens with all the other trucks, and that's not really what I would like to do, given that we know we've got this Mac Pinnacle that does something else. So, but I'm pretty sure, you know, that wasn't part of the base game in FS19. It was a mod, and so we're going to be waiting until a mod like that arrives within FS22. So speaking of FS22, I guess while we're doing some work, there's been, really on both fronts, on FS22 and FS19, a good amount of maintenance these last 2 days. So yesterday was FS22 maintenance, and that ended up placing significant numbers of mods into the FS22 servers, the most important of which was GPS, and as far as parity of what we're used to in FS19, but I've seen a lot of, I think it was really feigned disappointment, like, oh, I've gotten used to not having manual attach, and now I have to work with that. But obviously manual attach was released by Wobster a little while back, and so that also got put in along with several pieces of equipment. And then today we had FS19 maintenance, so I did have to download the updated mods, and so there is a bit of a change to GPS. It sounds like the majority of the changes are kind of how it appears, how the dots appear. I think they're a little bit larger, and then they're higher off the ground is what I understood. So I suppose I can, while I'm sitting here, I can go ahead and do that with my truck here. So I normally do that at about 9, and then I'm not sure if it's, oops, I'm hitting the wrong key. I'm not sure if it's taking it. So I think we're good here. Sorry for the little hiccup there. I had to jump out because I do have a little bit of a strange issue that's been happening to me that I noticed as I was doing the map recording. Is I've set some hotkeys in my recording software to try to facilitate a little bit of ease there, but there is some overlap somewhere in what I've selected that sometimes I end up inadvertently stopping or starting a video. And so I just wanted to make sure the video was actually still running, which it is. And I will not do the other waypoint on my GPS yet until I pull forward more, because I don't think I'm at 15 meters, and obviously I'll get the error, and that again may be part of what's causing the issue. So, but it does take a bit of time to fill this tractor with, or these trailers with 80,000 liters. So yeah, so it's been pretty exciting, the fact that we've got that maintenance that happened, because that's always a good time. And so usually what happens, and that was no different here, is some mods that may be causing problems, maybe aren't used as often, are removed. And so, you know, there is a time that if someone owned certain things, that we would be asked to sell them. Otherwise they just vanish, and at that point, you know, you've been given fair warning for several days to sell it before the maintenance. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I assume I guess they look a little bit bigger. I assume they are. I mean, I just, obviously without having an example of how they looked before, I suppose I'll be able to look at older videos, older episodes, and then look at this one and see what I see. And then once again, I can see they're definitely above the ground more, because they're basically about mid-wheel. So that part's a little easier to tell. So definitely don't mind that, because anything that makes it easier to see. And I think the raising up above the ground a bit is really geared to let me change the direction here just so it doesn't do that, but I'll likely be turning this off shortly anyway, because usually these roads on the map here are a little bit skewed to the point where you can't really use GPS, and it's a little bit more prevalent north-south. And it's still vanishing into the ground a bit there, but what you'll see is I'll slowly drift in the lane one way or the other at some point, because the roads aren't exactly direct north-south, east-west. So you can start to see now I'm starting to drift toward the center line a little bit. So that's kind of what I mean. So for a segment there, we were okay, which is why sometimes I'll use the GPS just to be certain, because obviously that way, you know, it keeps me from flying off the road to some degree. But as you can see, I basically would have to release and then still drive over and then realign, and then it drifts over relatively quickly as well, so that doesn't necessarily help. I apologize there, that was not being able to see. My cat was doing something loud, and hopefully that wasn't, you didn't hear all that on the microphone, but anyway, I was looking over to see what she was doing, and suddenly realized I needed to turn my truck. So, apologize for the jerking motion there, but that was not lack of visibility. It was just, frankly, me not looking. Alright, so we'll do this. And then we'll run another truck, and then likely at least 1 or 2 tankers of material. So let's see here. Let's see if I can get in a position again where I can... That's interesting. Because the lime is technically up here, but it was going to let me do it back there. I guess I'll have to take it when it will give it to me. So let's see. Right now I'm on the back trailer. So I'll empty that, because then eventually that one's going to skew and it won't stay straight. See, again, the lime is like where my cab is actually the silo. So it does tend to let you drop things in multiple places, but clearly I had more options for the seed than it gave me for this, and obviously now at this point I've basically totally messed myself up. So of course I also had the wrong tractor selected. There we go. So we'll dump that here since it's letting me. Alright, so we've got that. Alright, I can see both at least. So yeah. So if I do 53,000 of fertilizer, which is that bottom one, and that's the thing, it's always a little confusing because to me it looks like a plant leaf, and so I always think that's seed, but obviously when I was dumping seed, the top one was what was changing. And then yeah, if I do 20-some thousand, 27,000 in the back, I'll have like 180,000 of lime and about 180,000 of fertilizer. So that'll work. That'll put us in a good spot for year 77. I think I shared on the other video. I'm going to turn these lines off because they're not needed, and frankly they're obviously probably quite annoying jumping around on the screen to watch. The plan is wheat and cotton for year 77. So I think we'll be planting 3 fields of wheat and 4 fields of cotton. I did not actually look today either if anything else has come up for auction. We did have the fields directly north of me. I'll show you which ones when I'm safely parked at the store and filling. So I'm not going to run the risk of putting this on cruise control and then running into a ditch while I'm looking at the map. Man, my cat has gone insane in the middle of the night here. So she just scared me. So hopefully it didn't come across in my voice. But if it did, no, nobody jumped on me, but it was kind of the same thing because it was certainly unexpected and it was kind of loud, so it startled me. Alright, so we're coming up on the turn. Don't want to blow by that. But, yeah, what I'm getting at is, you know, obviously if 88 and 87 come up for auction, that potentially changes our field realignment if I go ahead and purchase those. But again, I'll have to kind of really think about it. We have crossed into midnight, so we might have a little bit of stutter here as the server starts to update things. But it's possible because it's winter and we don't have crops on the field and so forth, so there isn't a lot to change with growth cycle. We may be okay, because usually it happens within the first couple minutes that it starts to cause some stagger. And obviously we're already now 4 minutes. It just changed. Alright, fertilizer. See, I'm like already forgetting. So fertilizer in the front, lime in the back. So, yeah, if I go to the map, the fields, this parcel is up for sale. So it actually has 3 fields in it, 199 and 104. You know, and obviously it's close to Sears. It's close to me, but I've looked at those fields during the day. They are definitely interesting. But once again, obviously there's a good hunk of trees and so forth. You know, I think if I go there, yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna show me much of anything, because oh, hold on, let me see if I can. Yeah, so there isn't. I was just wondering if maybe they had expanded the fields, like obviously here in 85, you know, they went into the trees, and obviously here in 97 I fixed that corner. But you can see like 99 is, you know, kind of a trapezoid, I guess. 104 is even more interestingly shaped. If I remember correctly, I think there's a stream or something, a stream bed there that you have to go across. So just a lot of reasons why it's, you know, a lot more challenging and not necessarily something I'm interested or concerned about. So yes, if I'm gonna add, I'm gonna add somewhere else, and that somewhere else is down by 30 and 29. So it would be just basically grabbing that group of fields. So once again, you know, getting these 2 purple fields, and then I'd kind of have this group here. So the outliers were really these fields, and the reason I purchased these was because I wanted somewhere to get those large bale bins, and I really didn't have anywhere else on my farm without losing arable land. And you know, 85 as we've got it here, because basically we've placed them kind of here. You know, I was able to do that without a huge impact. And so obviously if I were to, you know, maybe take out more of the forest and try to expand the field, they'd be in the way again. But, you know, I'm sure I could plan out something that would make sense. So there we go. We've got 53,000 fertilizer and 27,000 lime, and as you can see, we're already almost below $1 million again, just with 3 truckloads. So that was part of my logic in moving a good hunk of money back in here. But never fear, we have plenty sitting out of the game itself that we can get in here. So I'm at I think 5.6 million when I last looked in the banks. So I think I'm now in 6 or 7 different banks. I actually spent a little bit of time moving money around because I had topped out at the $1 million when I stopped getting interest at I think 5 different banks. So I think I ended up taking like $250,000 and moving that into another bank, which got me from like between 100 and 200,000 to now almost 500,000 already in that bank. And then as I signed on tonight, you know, I think this episode started with me checking how I was doing in the resource exchange this morning, and when I signed on tonight, I'm already at 1.1 million in the Entrepreneurs an account from the resource exchange, so my crop sales are going pretty well. Sold about another 300,000 or so today. And again, crop sales will likely continue through the evening, and by the morning my balance will be even higher. And then tomorrow I can actually move some funds between the web and Meta, or the web and Meta are the same. Well, I guess they're technically not. Meta and yeah, so I guess we could call the FSN site the web, but I think we do in FSN lingo, so I think I just confused myself. But either way, I can move it between Entrepreneurs and FSN's website. There's also been some discussion, I guess, you know, in the development of the website, there's some plans for some significant changes now coming there, so I'm going to be on the lookout for that, and I'll certainly share how that all pans out and what impact it has to us. Because at this point, basically, we've been told that the split out of all the Meta things from FSN has occurred, and alright, let me see. I want to go a little bit further, because then, there we go. Yep, I can then dump both. And if I did this right, it should all work. There we go. So they're both increasing, and they should both stop before my trucks. There we go. So the lime is done at 178,959. And the fertilizer will be done at 176. Alright, so I'm definitely going to go grab a tanker of herbicide, if not more than one, because that goes pretty quickly. And I may do a tanker of liquid fert. That will last a long time, because I think I've only had 30,000 liquid fert ever, so I've just finally used like 15 of that. So yeah, I'm going to go park this back, and I'm going to go ahead and run that. I think at this point you've been with me long enough. If anybody's, you know, if I've got viewers that watch this, I thank you profusely for listening to me and listening to me chat about all the things going on in my head related to what's happening here. So thanks for being interested in that, for sure. And, you know, again, comments are always appreciated. I love having dialogue with those of you that are taking time to watch what's going on, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and run those tanks, get that done. But basically, you know, I'm going to move 120,000 of liquid fertilizer, and then, or maybe it's not that much. I think the tanker might only be 45,000, but either way. So I'll move 2 tankers, and then I'll move another tanker of liquid fert and 2 tankers of herbicide, because the herbicide definitely goes faster. And that way I'll have that done. Certainly the liquid fertilizer for a long time. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll never have to get more of it on the Seneca farm, and that I'll be getting it somewhere else in FS22. But we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if that much liquid fertilizer lasts me Might even last me up to 10 years. So, and if it does that, and if we're not on FS19 by then, wow. But, you know, we'll see. Because, yeah, it does look like there are, I guess, a couple things. You know, I can probably talk forever, so we'll see how things go. But there are some 4X maps in the works. I believe they're both ports, again, of FS19 maps that people are doing. One's Westby, Wisconsin, and one's, I think if I recall, Cedar Ridge, Iowa. So the Cedar Ridge, Iowa, I'm not sure that I know that one. Alright, well, I'm going to have to maybe rethink this. So I'm going to go dump this herbicide back in. I may just end up getting one tanker. But yeah, let's 36,000. I honestly don't remember, but actually if I... Okay, 50,000 is the limit. So I was going to say, if I look at my limiter... So yeah, that would mean I'd have to be below 100,000 on my fertilizer, or my herbicide. Man, I mean, I'm getting my chemicals mixed up. I'd have to be below 100,000 for 2 tanks to be worth it. And I'm also wondering... thing that's now making me second guess a lot of this is I don't know if we're going to get credit for our supplies when we finally move. So my concern ends up being, like, if I end up with, you know, say 100,000 herbicide left, it's a lot of cash. But once again, you know, it's not like I'm struggling for cash. Obviously, again, I've got 5.6 saved. I've got 1.1 in the resource exchange with more going. So, you know, I'm easily going to be over $7 million as it is there. So, I don't know. I may just do that so that I don't have to worry about running around any longer. But let's see. Oh yeah, I'll definitely be able to do 100,000, because even with the 36. So yeah, I'm going to stick with my plan. So I'm going to get 2, and that means I'm going to be at 64,000 in the liquid fert, and I'll be at probably 150,000-ish, 160,000 in herbicide. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I should be able to do that before the server reset time, because I've easily got another hour before that happens and I get in jeopardy, because really we should stop about an hour and a half before the server reboot, just to be certain we don't lose anything. So I should be okay, as long as I'm off of here before 1 a.m. on the server time. Although, now that I say that, I better check the real time, because yeah, it's actually 12:30, so I really only have half an hour instead of 37 minutes or 33 minutes, whatever it is, or 43 minutes, 42 minutes. So yeah, I really only have 30 minutes, but I should be able to run 3 loads with that. And then I should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I am going to shut up now, and I'm going to let you go, and I will see you next time.